Hey, how are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I want to talk to you about probably the most important thing I think that most preppers or PMPs, preparedness minded people, need to do. And it's not buying more spam, and it's not adding to your bug out bag, and it's not most of the things that you might think of, but it is upping your preparedness game. You know, you look around you, and everybody's been talking about it. We can see what's happening with our border. We can see what's happening with the wars and rumors of wars. We can see what's happened in the southeast with the storms, and we see that our country is essentially crumbling around us. And I made one that I just put up. Matter of fact, I just put up two others on the Patreon site that aren't going to be here on YouTube. Coming. By the way, I should say I'm down at the Maple Leaf Crafts Festival down in Mound City, Missouri, at the Lynn County, Kansas Fairgrounds. And on the way down here, I shot one asking the Patreon people. Feel free to join us over there if you'd like. Links down below. Does it really matter who wins this election? And then I made another one just a few minutes ago, just for the Patreon people, about the secret to business. You know, a lot of people in preparedness are always looking. I hear far too many complaints about people saying, "Well, I can't afford to do that. I can't afford." I hear people say they can't afford $1 a month to join our Patreon page. If you can't do that, let me give you some advice, and this is for your benefit, not to make you feel bad. Stop watching these videos. You need to improve your life. If you honestly can't afford, and I don't believe that anybody can afford $1. It's just excuses that people are making. But if you're that tight, you need to improve your life. Okay, you don't need to keep watching preparedness videos because you can't afford to prepare. Okay, now if you're just watching them for entertainment, well, okay, I'm glad that we're providing some entertainment for you, but it's not really helping you other than that. But you know, a lot of people out there tell me in the comments, and I hear it around. Well, I can't afford to get this. I can't afford to get that. And guys, that's foundational to your preparedness, is your ability to get stuff. Now, you know, does stuff trump skills? Does stuff trump ability? Does stuff, I'm not going to get into that, nor need anybody else get into what's more important: skills, knowledge, stuff, whatever like that. It all works together. And if you're trying to separate these, you're coming at it wrong. You need all of them. Okay, stuff makes your skills and your knowledge go a lot farther. Okay, you can go a lot farther with 10 grand in your bank account to buy stuff with than you can a piece of string and a jackknife, right? I mean, seriously. And so, what the last one that I put on Patreon was, how to improve business, the difference between succeeding and failing at a small business. And the best way to improve your economic and financial preparedness is to have a business of your own, no matter, whether it's a small one, like we're down here right now. Kelly has a booth. She's had a booth down here at the Maple Leaf Festival for years, does great business. We're headed up to Lincoln, Nebraska Wednesday, and then again next Saturday to stock her booth at the Painted Tree in Lincoln, Nebraska. Anybody up there around Lincoln, come visit her. I think her booth is C15, I think it is. She has some great stuff in there. If you're around Mound City, Kansas this weekend, come by and see us in the, what is it called? She's in a building called the Harvest Basket, I think. But that's not really the point. The point is your financial strength is important for your preparedness strength. And you need to find a way to do it. Now, a lot of people are out there kind of messing around with it. And this is why I made the one that I just put up on the Patreon channel about what's the difference between being successful and failing at a small business. A lot of people try. a lot of people fail. And Kelly and I have had all sorts of businesses over the last 20 years, and we've been very successful at all of them. And so I tell you the secret over there. But not to get into the secret here, the thing that I want to concentrate on here is simply the importance of upping your game. We get into this idea, and I talk about, the whole concept of integrative preparedness is to be prepared for everything, no matter what. And you'll hear those negative people saying, "Oh, I don't think anybody can be prepared for everything." Well, that's because they don't want to think about it. They don't want to put in the effort to really consider what everything could happen, right? All the things that could happen, and then try to prepare for those. And it's really not that difficult. It's really not. It's all about being self-sufficient, okay? If you've read my books, the Stonemont series, if you haven't, you should. The link's down below in the information section. I tell you, it's the master plan of preparing for everything. But if you're not prepared for everything, something's going to come and bite you in the butt. So the first hurdle you need to get over is this idea that nobody can prepare for everything. I know that's it's a popular fallback, right? It's how a person who doesn't want to try to prepare for everything makes themselves feel better, but say it can't be done. Well, I know a lot of people who have done it. Okay, and one of the main things that allowed them to do it, their financial stability, their financial strength. And that's why, so, you ought to think about that. Those of you who are on Patreon, I tell you the one thing that it needs. One thing separates failures from successes. One thing. And if you got that down, you're gonna be good. Okay. But everybody out there, with what's going on in the world right now, with the collapse of our country. We have enemies from outside. We have enemies from the outside who are now inside. We have an election coming up that who knows what's going to happen. No matter which way it goes, it's going to be calamitous in one way or another for our country. Okay? And you need to be ready for that. And complaining about it isn't the same as getting ready. Too many people, and I've said this about politics too. Too many people will sit around and they'll complain about what's going on and think that they've done something. They mistake complaining for doing something. Well, yeah, I did something. I complained. No, complaining doesn't accomplish anything except, well, what it does, it's actually detrimental to you, because it lets you let off some steam that otherwise might be better held within. Let that steam in there drive you, okay? When you let the steam out of a steam engine, it loses its power, right? You need that controlled steam in there to drive it, and you need it in to drive you. So I'd say, don't worry about complaining about stuff. Be dedicated, be determined to improve your position. And so whatever happens within our country, and this is kind of what I was saying in my first video on Patreon. If you're just on YouTube, you won't see it, but and that is, does it really matter who wins this election? And no. Hey, if you want to watch it, come watch it. And that depends on a number of things. But if you're not ready for what's coming, it really doesn't matter what's coming, because it's going to get you. And the one thing that I hate to hear is when people come on and they sound like they've already given up. They sound, and I can tell that because of the way they complain. I see this on other channels too. I see it's just one big litany of complaints, how horrible things are, how horrible things are, how horrible things are. Well, so what? I mean, things have been horrible before. Things are going to be horrible again. Things are horrible right now. A lot of things are horrible. But whether your life is horrible depends on you. It depends on what you're doing with it. It depends on how you're preparing. And are you really preparing with a vision, with a determination that says, I'm going to, no matter what happens, I'm going to make sure that me and my family are okay? Or are you just consumed with the, oh, woe is me, the sky is falling, everything's horrible, with that kind of defeatist mentality? A defeatist mentality prepares you for defeat. Simple as that. A determined winning mentality prepares you to win. You need to get your mind right so that you can't see anything except you winning. Some people will say, well, I don't think that that's a very realistic idea. Well, that's because they don't have the mindset to do it. They would rather just kind of let life wash over them than try to stand up against whatever's coming in the world, in their life or in the world. So anyway, that's what I want to say. Don't let these doomers and gloomers and these constant complainers drag you down. If you are interested in preparedness, if you consider yourself a prepper, or even better, a PMP, a preparedness-minded person, channel that energy to doing something that will enable you to live well no matter what happens, right? Those of you who have been with us for a while know that my tagline at the end of every one of these is, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. The key word there is well. I have no desire to just survive. Okay. Why? We've worked thousands of years to get to where we are to live the kind of life we live nowadays, right? And most of it, I know some of it's irritating, some of it's aggravating, but for the most part, it's a darn good life. And why would I want to allow a changing world to collapse my happy? I'm not going to, and you shouldn't either. Okay, so get out from underneath that wet blanket of doom and gloom and how horrible things are, and get up, stand up straight, get to going, get to work, and up your game. Up your game so that no matter what happens, whether it's the election, whether it's the wars, whether it's another 9 million illegals coming across the border, whatever, you're going to be fine. And it can be done. There's going to be all sorts of people out there that will tell you it can't be done. Well, they can't do it because they won't put in the work. But whether you can do it or not is entirely up to you. Okay? All right. I'm going to get back and have a good time at our booth back there at the Maple Leaf Festival here in Mound City, Kansas, at the Lynn County Fairgrounds. And we are every day up in our game. And our game's been up there for a while. But every day we up it just a little bit more, and so can you. All right, you all have a good day. Again, remember, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Don't let the failures drag you down. It's up to you whether you're going to be a failure or a success. So get on it and be a success. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.